embellish our rosette ornament today, we're using these maple tags from Amuse Studio, and these are the 1.5 inch size. These things are so cool. They're just these little wood tags, but there's so much awesome stuff that you can do with them. And I'm going to show you one neat way of doing our favorite emboss resist technique on wood today. So let's get started on making the embellishment for our ornament. I'm using this really pretty large snowflake ornament from the Amuse Studios Snow Crystals stamp set. And I'm just going to ink this up with my Versamark ink. And then I'm going to take the tag and place it kind of where I think I want it. And just press that down really well. And now I have my clear embossing powder out, and you could do this with any color embossing powder, but then you won't really be able to tell quite so well that it's wood underneath. So I'm just going to sprinkle some clear embossing powder on that tag. And it kind of sticks everywhere, so you want to, you know, the wood's a little bit different than the paper, so you want to make sure that you get all the excess off. So now that I have got all the extra embossing powder off of my maple tag here, I am just going to go ahead and heat emboss that clear embossing powder, and I'm kind of going to hold it down because it's so small. I'm going to hold it down with just this random little skewer here, and it's going to get loud for a minute, so just bear with me. Okay, so I heated that embossing powder just until it got nice and shiny, and you can tell on the wood it takes a little bit longer to heat. And you can also see, I was surprised to find out, the wood actually kind of warps a little bit, just like the paper does, but it will kind of flatten out for you. So I'm just going to set this aside to dry just for a minute, just to make sure that the embossing powder has all set. So to do the resist portion of this technique, I'm using some distress ink, and this is in Fired Brick, and all I'm going to do is just pat this onto my tag. It's going to lighten up as it dries, so you want to take it a little bit darker than you think you're going to want it. And then you just want to take a paper towel and kind of rub off any of the ink that is sitting on top of your embossing powder. Now I've embossed a second piece because I want to show you, you can also do this with the distress stains. I have the distress stain and peeled paint here, and this is a little bit messier, but you just kind of do it the same way. Just keep working it into the wood until you get it to be the color that you want it to be. And here you can see the green tag that I did with the distress stain, and it will lighten up a little bit as it dries. Now another thing that I like to do with these, because you can see it kind of bleeds, especially when you're using the distress stain. So whether I'm using the ink pad or the stain, I like to just take it and go around the edges, because this is so three-dimensional, you will be able to see the sides. So to work on my rosette now, I have a piece of paper that measures about an inch and a quarter by 11 inches long, so it's the entire length of a 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And I am scoring it at every 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to take my scored strip and fold on the score lines in accordion style. Now that I have my whole strip folded up, I'm going to take just a little piece of score tape and put it on the back of one of the ends. And then I am just going to fold this around and line up the ends and stick them together so that now it is in a little circle. So I've got my accordion taped into a circle, and I've gone ahead and punched out a 1.5 inch circle punch and a 1 inch circle punch. And on both of these, I've covered the back pretty completely in score tape. And these are going to help me hold my rosette together. So I'm going to start by kind of pushing this down into the rosette shape, just to get it kind of used to being in that shape. Once you do it once, it's a lot easier to keep it, to push it back down into that shape. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and remove the backing from the score tape on my larger circle punch. This is the 1.5 inch circle. Push my rosette down and then kind of flip it over. So I have the back side of my rosette just like this. And I'm going to hold it together the best that I can and come in here and try to kind of line up. And now I'm not pushing it down all the way, but it's fairly well centered. And then I'm going to flip it over now and kind of push my rosette into the center, make sure the pleats are all even. And now I can really push it down into that score tape. Now I've got my glossy accents, and I'm just going to kind of fill up that little hole in the center there. And that once that dries, that's going to help keep the rosette together really, really securely. And now I have my smaller circle, and this one is going to go on the top and help sandwich it all together. Just put that kind of centered and give it a good squish down to make sure that that score tape has the opportunity to catch while the glossy accents is drying. And now what I'm going to do is take my glossy accents again and just kind of cover this 1 inch circle on the top here with a fairly thin layer of the glossy accents. And then I can put my maple tag on the top and center it. And then I am just going to hold that there for a second so that the glossy accents has the chance to kind of grab on and set a little bit. And then what I like to do is take an acrylic block and something kind of heavy here. I have a glue bottle here, and I'll just kind of set that on top and let it dry so that will hold it down while it's drying. I've got this other ornament that I made with the green embossed resist tag and a smaller rosette. This was made using a 1 inch by 11 inch strip of the cardstock, and I want to show you how I finish off the back. I've got a cute little piece of red and green twine here and another coordinating 1.5 inch circle, and this is to keep the twine together and also to make sure that whatever way it's hanging, the words are right side up. So I'm going to pick kind of where I want the top to be. So I want it to hang with a hanger here, and I'm just going to flip that over, and as you can see, the words are not right side up. So I'll just place that where I want it and make sure that it is stuck down pretty securely. And I'm going to take out my glossy accents again. And then I will take my second 1.5 inch circle punch and make sure that the words now are the right way up. And I will just press that into the glossy accents. Now you can see that the back of the ornament looks nice and finished. And we have our hanger all set exactly where we want it to be. And again, here's the other one that I made with the red fired brick distressing. Embossing, doing embossed resist with other things other than the snowflake, or just stamping directly on these maple tags. They're so much fun to play with. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you tomorrow for the next ornament in my 12 Days of Christmas Ornaments tutorial series. Have a good one. Bye-bye.